Welcome back, everybody, to Empyrion Galactic Survival. I'm an old guy gaming, and in this episode, we are going to take a sidestep from the Let's Play, and we're going to actually work on getting a couple of my ships upgraded to work with the CPU mechanic. So, just to let you know, it's been about a little over 2 weeks, I think, since I myself actually played last, because I got about 2 weeks or so ahead of you guys with the recordings. And so yesterday should have been the last recording, which was the fourth part of Off-World Grave. And all of those recordings I did on 12.1. And then as soon as I was finished with Off-World Grave, Empyrion came out with 12.2 right after that. And also, the Fun Pimps came out with 7 Days to Die Alpha 19 Experimental. And so, since I was so far ahead of you guys, I figured, okay, well, let's take a break from Empyrion, and I'll start playing 7 Days to Die until we get caught up, and then we'll jump back into Empyrion. So that's pretty much where we are right now. Now, as far as the Let's Play itself goes, I haven't really decided if I'm going to continue the current Let's Play, or start a new one. And the reason being, of course, is because the current Let's Play, is a 12.1 save, and we could, potentially run into some issues if we continue on. Now, from what I read from the patch notes, however, it looked like the main reason why Empyrion was telling us to start over is because they made changes to both Totally Overpowered and Off-World Grave, but we've already completed those quest lines. So I'm not really sure, what I'm going to do about that. And let me know what you guys think too in the comments, if you would. Should we start over, with a new save because we're on 12.2, or should we continue our current save, that started on 12.1 and just keep going and hope nothing major, breaks? So let me know, how you guys feel about that. I will tell you this though: if we start a new series, or start a new save, I'm not going to start on the ice planet again, because we've already been there and done that, and we've conquered the ice planet. Essentially, it's no longer a problem for us, at least in terms of the weather. However, that was one hell of a struggle in the early game for sure. So if we do another series, if we start a new save, I'm probably going to start on the swamp planet, just to do something different. I don't want to do a temperate start because I'm doing that on the multiplayer server for one thing, and I've done it a million times, and everybody else does it too. So and I've done the arid start enough times to where I'm just not feeling the urge to do that either. So the swamp planet would be my choice if we do decide to start a new save. If we don't, then we'll just continue with 12.1, and like I said, hopefully nothing major happens later on. Okay, enough about that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start a new single player creative game, and we're going to just go to space, and yeah, let's just start. We don't need anything fancy there. And so the goal for this episode is we're going to upgrade the Blacklight, which is my capital vessel, for CPU, so that'll work with the CPU, because right now, as of right now, it doesn't have any of that stuff, because I built it before Empyrion came out with the CPU mechanic. In fact, I built that ship before Empyrion even came out with the weight and volume. That's how old it actually is. But I did update it to work with weight and volume, but I never updated it to work with CPU. So that's what we're going to do. And then depending upon how our time goes, I'd also like to spawn in my Jade Jet, which is my other kind of workhorse small vessel that I've had for a long time, and also get that upgraded to CPU. But the Jade Jet's going to require more work, because we're going to need to do some serious overhauling on it. But we'll talk about that once we get to that point. So let's go ahead and start with the Blacklight first. So I'm going to go into the blueprints, and I'm going to grab the Blacklight version that's on the workshop, which is this guy here. And we're going to go ahead and spawn him in. By the way, if you're curious, this is my workshop page, and this is the Blacklight that's currently up there. But you guys, you wouldn't want this one, because this is the one that we have to upgrade. So what we'll do is we'll upgrade it to CPU, and then I'll publish the new version of this on the workshop for anybody that's interested in downloading. But anyways, my Steam name is Avalok, so it's Avalok's Workshop. That's where you would find this. And then you can see my other builds, workshop builds too. What the hell just happened? Yeah, right here. So, we got the Stingray that we did from the Project Eden series. I got, my factory that I built a while back, and a couple other things too. But, You know, my most extensive build to date has definitely been the Blacklight, and then you know, probably my second biggest build was the Cylon Raider Mark II, but that that thing is going to take so much work to get it to work with CPU. I don't even know if I'll try and do it. So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. So we're going to spawn this guy in, make sure we're level. Not that that matters a whole lot. Okay. So right now, I was kind of messing with this a little bit off camera before I started the recording, and right now this ship is about 6 million and change over the tier 4 CPU, as you can see here. So, and the good news though is that I currently have 8 RCS, Tech 2 RCSs, and look how much the I have 9. I thought I only had 8 on here. Interesting. Okay, I guess I have 9. Those 9 RCSs are 11.2 million, you guys, just by themselves. I mean, it's so nuts. And the cool thing about it, because like I said, I kind of tested this off camera first before I started the camera in a different creative save. The cool thing about it is I don't even need them. I mean, I can take them all out and the ship performs beautifully just because of, you know, where the thrusters are actually placed. So let's see here. What we're going to do is let's get into God mode just so I don't have to break anything more than necessary. And what we're going to do is take out these Tech 2 RCSs. So we're going to need a multi-tool. Let's get one of those going. And some charges. While we're here, we might as well grab the CPU extenders too. So we want to be on capital vessel and CPU, and we're just going to grab one of each of those types. Okay, so let's pick these up. And, you know, I'll have to figure out later what, if anything, I'll do in these compartments here. All right, now we want to go down to the lower deck here. And where I'm going to put the CPU extenders, and by the way, just so you can see, you know, now we're down to 6 million. So, and tier 4 is going to give us 10 million. So we're going to have lots of room to play with after we're done doing this. So I'm going to put these extenders in the place of where these fuel tanks currently are. So let's remove, I think I need to take all of those out. And then we're going to put the T2 there. Shut up, door. We put 2 T3s there. And then we have to put 4 T4s. 2. Oh, frick. That's not where I want you to go. And 4. There we go. Okay, so those are tucked up nice and neat. Back up in there. I might, you know what? I might actually redo this, but if I redo these cargo boxes, I'll do that in survival mode. I'm not going to do that on this video because right now I just want to get the ship working, you know, at tier 4. So we could put maybe one of the big fuel tanks back up here for now. Oh, maybe we can't. Is it not going to fit up there? Yeah, it'll fit up there. Okay. I'll have to think about this. I mean, you know, this is more for decoration than anything, but it does look pretty damn cool. But we might actually end up wanting to have more extensions and more space. And if we do that, we're going to have to spread these out a little bit more than they currently are. But like I said, I'm not going to worry about that. That's something we can do in survival mode if we decide to make those changes later. So now that we have those CPUs, let's go ahead, let's get a little more fuel here too. So I'm going to go back into here and let's just grab some fusion cells. There we go. Okay, so if we look at our CPU now, we're great. We have almost 4 million points to play with, you guys. just by removing those RCSs. But here's the cool thing. Check this out. If we go up to the bridge now, I'm just ghosting all the way up there. I'll give you guys a quick tour of the ship too here in just a bit for those of you who maybe haven't seen my capital vessel. Where the hell's the bridge at? Oh, it's up here. Okay. All right, so we have, keep in mind we only have one T2 RCS now. I don't even know where the hell that's at. I mean, we could find it if we want to, but I'm not worried about it. So let's go here. We'll turn our thrusters on. We'll put the shield on just so, you know, we have the full power draw. And look how well she flies with just that one T2 RCS. I mean, beautifully. Remember, this is a big-ass capital ship. I mean, she rolls really good. Got great acceleration. She goes, you know, top speed in orbit, and just super happy with, you know, with the performance, you know, even with taking all those RCSs off. And one of the things to keep in mind too is, remember, I built this pre-weight and volume. That's how long ago we built it. And at that time, I needed those RCSs in here to get this ship to turn the way that I wanted to. But, you know, now that they've changed, what the hell? Did we just enter? Oh, we must have just entered Atmo. I didn't know I was that close to the planet. I was going, that's nuts. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so, excuse me, back then we needed the RCSs, but now we don't because of the new, you know, thrust replacement and the new, you know, flight mechanics and that sort of thing. So this is certainly working in our favor, big time working in our favor. But yeah, as you can see, she flies really, really nicely. And, you know, not too squirrely, but definitely super maneuverable for such a large ship. So I was very happy about that. So we got lots of CPU to play with, and we're good to go. So what I would like to do is I would like to bring this ship in to our survival game, you know, when I get to the point where I can actually afford it. I mean, make no mistake about it, this is an expensive-ass ship. It takes over 20 real-time hours to make, you know, assuming you just fed the, you know, the ingots and stuff in directly without doing hull blocks. So obviously I would work on getting that down. But yeah, just really happy that we were able to simply just remove those RCSs, put the CPU extenders in, and we're good to go. Because that means I don't have to change anything else. Because I don't want to change anything else about the ship. I just love the way that it is. It took me a long time to build this ship too. It took me several months, you know, working on it here and there. I didn't work on it nonstop, of course, to get the ship completely built. So, I'm just happy that I don't have to make major modifications, you know, to bring it in. But it is, you know, it is definitely going to be a Tier 4 ship. Absolutely going to be a Tier 4 ship. Okay, so let's do this. Let's hop out of our seat here. And I want to make sure that I leveled her out. Yeah, she's level. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to save. Let me get out of let me get out of God mode because it's kind of screwing with my. There we go. So let's get a nice angle of the ship. We can have the asteroid belt in the back and the planet down below. That looks pretty good right there, I would say. Let's get rid of the HUD. Yeah, that's a nice angle. I like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an Alt-O. For some reason, when I hit the right Alt key on my keyboard, it rotates me, and I don't know why that is, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And we're going to save this as the Blacklight T4. All right. Okay, so now she's saved to the, to the blueprints. And what I will do, for those of you who are interested, is I'll go ahead and publish it now, but, you know, keep in mind we might make further modifications to it in survival mode when we bring it in, but I also want to make sure I save it to template. So that's done as well. And now let's go back into here, and we'll select the tier 4, and we'll go ahead and publish that to the workshop. Now, can I publish, spawn, rename, delete? Which one do I have on update? Okay. Can I just like overwrite that with this one? Let me try something here. Let's get right about there. Okay, let's go back here for a second, and I'm going to actually delete this. Okay, now if we do an Alt-O, yeah, I can overwrite it. Good. I think I'm going to overwrite it because, I mean, the other one doesn't work anyways, and that way I don't have to, I can use the same description and everything that's currently on the workshop for it. So let's overwrite. Cool. Okay, so that overwrites it. We already saved it to template, so that's done. And okay, good. It updated the picture there too. Okay, so let's click update. Yeah, this is an airtight vessel. And we'll make it public and we'll update it. Okay, so now it's got the new screenshot, and this is the new version. I might change the description later and just put something in there about, you know, how it's been updated to tier 4, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So you know, there's the change notes. Yeah, okay, so it said updated July 15th, 12:04 a.m., which is what time it is right now. All right, so if you guys are interested in downloading this yourself, just go to Avalok's workshop. Avalok is my Steam name. That, you know, I've had that as my gaming name for years and years and years. And you know, feel free to download it if you want to, and let me know what you think. Okay, cool. So we are done with the Blacklight, and so now what I want to do is, let's go ahead and, oh, we were going to do a tour of this. Yeah, let me give you a tour in case you guys haven't seen my capital vessel. So the ship is, it's probably fairly obvious to you why I call it the Blacklight, right? Because it kind of has that blacklight effect on it, and it's even more noticeable in darker areas. So where's the sun at? I don't even know where the sun is. It must be, is it on the other side of the planet? Excuse me, gesundheit. Well, anyway, trust me, if you look at it in the dark, it looks really cool because it looks like, you know, it's all lit up like like black lights. You can kind of see that here, but it would look better if it was darker. So, yeah, so the ship is really, I mean, it's kind of a multi-purpose, a multi-role vessel, but probably more than anything, it's an exploration vessel. So, you know, kind of think you know, Star Trek USS Enterprise role. It is armed to the teeth. It's got the maximum number of guns that the game allows on it. You know, the default settings, anyways, without modification. So it's definitely armed to the teeth, but it is first and foremost, at least in my heart, you know, an exploration vessel. That's why I made it, and I really want to use it. Let's bring the turrets in. I really want to use it for that purpose, particularly now that we have a whole galaxy that we can explore, you know. And so let's take a look at the ship. So this is the bridge. Here, let's get back into God mode. It's just going to be easier for me to show you what's going on here. It does have an access up here, though, as you can see, to get down into the bridge. Okay, so yeah, this is the bridge. This, of course, is the captain's seat here. These are all cockpits, too, but I put them there not because I wanted multiple cockpits, but I just liked the design of the cockpits. I thought they fit pretty well because, you know, you can kind of think of this maybe as a, you know, as a science station, and this is like a navigation station. You know, if you use your imagination a little bit, this could be like, you know, the weapons battle station, whatever you want to call it. So it has an armor locker up here, and also a small constructor and a little controller in case, you know, you needed to make something quickly and you didn't want to run all the way back to the lower deck where all the rest of the equipment is. So yeah, that's the bridge. Looks pretty cool. All right, let's come down here. This is the commons area, so this is where the crew hangs out when they're off duty and watches the football game, and sits on the couch, has fun, and that sort of thing. And then if we go back this way, we have the crew quarters and the captain's quarters. So this is the captain's quarters in here, and this is the first officer's quarters. Here we have, you know, crew quarters here on both sides. So that's that. We come this way and we've got the lavatories. So this is I think that's the women's and this is the men's. Yeah. The light's a little bit oversaturated in here. So, you know, you could tone that down if that bothered you, but the reason I have it that way is because so we get that blacklight glow effect on the outside, but it is a little overdone on the inside, but you know, not a big deal. Again, something you could tone down if it really started bothering you. In fact, if we turn, you know, the actual ship lights off, you know, then you can see this, you know, what it normally looks like, but I kind of like it. I kind of like those on because that's kind of the spirit of the ship, so to speak. All right, anyway, this is the med bay, and so, you know, you've got all your medical equipment in here. Yep. And then let's see, we already looked at that stuff. Okay, so this goes down into the engineering section here, where we have, you know, our generator and our warp drive, and, you know, the I'll have to retexture that. You know what, let's do that right now. Oh shit, now I'm gonna have to resave it again. Whatever, not a big deal. Yeah, let's fix this real quick. What? I don't even know why that shit showed up. Oh, we need a color tool. No, not color tool. That's the old thing. We want a color. My brain is just not working. A texture and color tool. That's what we want. Okay. All right. So this is this texture here. And it's also one of these reds, maybe this one. I think that's right. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do in these two spots. I'm just gonna leave it the way that it is for now. It's definitely, you know, it's not something we have to figure out right now. Okay, so yeah, this is the engineering section. We got the generator, we got the warp drive, the warp fuel tank, gravity generator, that sort of thing. When we come back here now, we have a big, massive flight deck. And actually, this ship was originally built around my Cylon Raider, which I built also. Huge, small vessel. But it's that Raider would take me so much work to get it upgraded and updated to CPU. I don't know if I ever will, to be honest with you. But the Raider is a very large, small vessel. And I'll just show it to you really quick. And if we go to small vessels and then we choose the Mark II. And let's bring that back this way a little bit too. Make sure it's level. Yeah, so this is my version of the Cylon Raider. As you can see, it's absolutely ginormous for a small vessel. Just huge ship. But it hasn't been updated for CPU either, and it would take a lot of work to do that. I mean, it's got, you know, the container extensions and all that in here, but the problem with it is that it's 575,000 allocation when it can only have up to 100,000. The reason for that, guys, look how many RCSs I have in the ship. It's just insane. There's almost 700 RCSs in the ship. The reason for that is because when I built this, which was back in Alpha 7, I believe, you know, the ship is so massive that I could not turn the damn thing, and I had to just keep adding more and more and more RCSs to it till I could get it to the point where, you know, I could somewhat control it. But, you know, as you can see, it's just packed with RCSs, so I would have to go through and remove all of those, or at least most of those, now I'm stuck, to, you know, to try and get it to work. And I might do that someday, but that day is not today. So let's just ghost out of here. All right. So anyway, all that to say, I built, this flight deck actually holds this ship, so the Raider will fit inside of this flight deck, and that's why, you know, it's so large. But, you know, if we don't use the Raider, which we probably won't, you know, now you have a lot of room in here for, you know, more normal sized small vessels, you know, to dock. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, I've got an extra, you know, just kind of an extra quick cockpit here if I want to just, you know, move the ship without having to go all the way to the bridge. Now on the wings, the port side and the starboard side are exact mirrors of one another. So let's just look at the port side. So this is like a whole nother engine room. It's in and of itself. So this is basically where Scotty from Star Trek will hang out. So we got all the, you know, our big ass engines in here. We've got some consoles, some more fuel tanks, and then more engines and stuff up here outside on the wings. And so, like I said, you know, the starboard side is an exact mirror of that, as you can see. So it looks exactly the same in here. All right, let's go to the top deck for a second. No, actually, you know what? We didn't look in here. This is our hydroponics bay. So we have a nice big farm in here. I don't remember how many crop plots there are, but there's, I don't know, 35, 40, something like that. So plenty of plots to you know, grow all the crops that you need to make a steady supply of rations and, you know, medical supply. And then you know, we have the mess hall here with refrigerators, food processors, and all that sort of thing. Up these elevators, there's one on each side. This just goes right back up to the commons area that we looked at earlier. So that's just a quick way to get down to the food. All right, let's go back this way. And let's go up to the top deck. So this top deck here is, our hangar, I should say, is actually designed for the J-Jet. So the J-Jet parks in here, and we're going to bring the J-Jet in and look at it here in a second. So, you know, it's got a repair station, O2, medical, armor locker, that sort of thing. A small container controller. The purpose of this is just to drop stuff off and, you know, sort it out later if you didn't want to sort it out now. So that's kind of the idea behind that. And then we have another flight deck out here. So, you know, if your friends are going to hang out with you, they can park their small vessels out on the back deck here. And then the last part of the ship is the lower deck. And this is where we already looked at this at the very beginning, where all of the constructors are and the container extensions. This, you know, remember I built this ship before the hull shields were a thing. And so I didn't really have a spot for it. And, you know, it fit okay there, so I decided just to put it there. I don't know if I'll keep it there forever, but that's definitely its home for right now. Because there just wasn't really any other place in the ship that I could put it without doing some serious modification, which I did not want to do. I didn't want to change the ship any more than I had to. So yeah, that's our ship, guys. This is a front hangar door with, you know, with the ramp for hover vessels. To go up if you know, you're at the front of the ship instead of the back. And yeah, that's our Blacklight. So I'm definitely going to plan on bringing this into our survival game, and I'll do it legit. You know, I'll farm up all the ores and stuff that it's going to need to you know, for us to bring it in. And I want to use it, you know, to explore the galaxy. So really excited and looking forward to doing that, because I never really got to use this in Alpha 11. It's just I never got around to doing the grind to get it, first of all, or changing it for the CPU. But I want to do that here. Okay, let's see. How's our time? We're right about time to quit. So let me just bring in the J-Jet and show it to you really quick, but most of the work that I'm going to do I'm going to do off camera anyways. So let's get leveled out here. And we'll go in here, and we're going to go to small vessels, which I guess we're already there. And the 9A, B, and C, those were all kind of variations that I was working on in Alpha 11, but I never actually finished them. Because at that time it was too damned expensive for me, because I was trying to do it in survival anyway. So what we're going to start with is my published version of the J-Jet, which is version 8. I think that's a published version. Is it? Maybe it's not. I might not have published that. Okay. Well, anyway, that is my latest actual version, or the last time that I actually made a significant update to it. So let's go ahead and spawn this in, and this little guy is my my workhorse small vessel. I've used this for many alphas, and it's fairly simple, but it gets the job done. It really does. It's a great ship, but it was massively over the CPU once they oh man, that's loud. Introduce the CPU mechanic. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update it so that it'll work with CPU. So right now where it stands, it'll definitely handle tier 4, easily handle tier 4, but there's some things that I need to do on the inside to get it where I want it to be. Let's get back into God mode here for a second. So I'm essentially going to gut this thing out and basically redo the innards of this. For one thing, it's got a bunch of RCSs that it doesn't probably need now. That being said, though, we might have to go ahead and put some thrusters. In fact, I'm sure we will probably have to put some thrusters out on the end of the wings, so that that we have good maneuverability, which we can do. The other thing about it too is I had a friend of mine upgrade the ship for me. I think it was an Alpha 10, and put the smaller thrusters, because it originally had the XXL thruster in it. In fact, the whole concept of the ship was that I wanted to take an XXL thruster and build the ship around it, and that's how it actually came into being. I never originally thought it was going to be, like my workhorse small vessel, but it kind of evolved into that. So anyway, there's supposed to be an XXL thruster in, but back then, as you guys probably know, the thrusters were really inefficient. And it was more efficient to put several smaller thrusters in the ship than it was to have the big one. But I don't know to what extent Empyrion has corrected that. I think they have, to some extent, if not completely. But even so, this ship is supposed to have one big ass engine in the back. So I'm going to take the small engines back out, put the big engine back in it. And if it's not quite as efficient that way, I don't care. That's the ship is supposed to have a big ass engine in the back, and it's going to again. All right. So anyway, I got a lot of work that I need to do on the inside. I'm going to completely gut it out, redo it. And then when I get the finished product done, I will of course showcase it for you guys. And then we're going to save it to the workshop as well, and bring it also into the survival game. Okay, guys, I think that's it for this episode. So when, as far as the Let's Play goes, there we go. As far as the Let's Play goes, again, let me know your thoughts. Should we continue on with our current save, which, remember, was started in 12.1, or should we start over on the Swamp Planet with a new save in 12.2. Let me know what you think I should do. Don't tell me to start over because they made changes to Off-World Grave and Totally Overpowered, because we've already finished those quests in in our current playthrough. I'm not going to do them again because I'm done with them. So, that if that's your only reason, then that's not a good reason. So just let me know what you think. I'd like to hear from you on that, and then based upon people's comments and whatnot, we'll decide if we're going to start over or if we will continue the current Let's Play. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It doesn't take any effort, it doesn't cost anything, and it certainly helps the channel. If you didn't like this episode, please consider leaving me a constructive comment, and I promise I'll consider your remarks. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.